Okay, we are about to start. Three, two, one. Hi, Patricia. How you doing?
Hey, Professor V, how are you?
Good, good. So today we're gonna go through the assignment Unit 8. So your last assignment. I'm gonna go through it. I'm gonna build a ham sandwich for you, and for our class. So hopefully I demonstrate what you guys are to do. So my philosophy is teach, demonstrate, and then show for you guys to
Mm.
show that you learn, right? So real
Yeah,
quick, we're gonna go to the class material, to our website, the content. The one thing is I will recommend is that you download this APA template that I have in here. It's standard template that I use um, for all my work. It's how I do my um, I use it all the time. Writing articles, whatever. It just keeps me honest, right? So
yeah.
download that. Let me open it right here real quick, so you know what it looks like. All right. This is very generic. Uh, it's meant to be used. Um, by the way, this is written for all the way to a thesis. So this covers all the scenarios. So when you go through it, it kind of shows you all the formats, all the level headings that you have to use. Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of
Mm,
sense.
correct. And what you do is basically for most of our assignments, all you need to do is copy this title page, get rid of the other stuff that it's in here. You can delete all of this out, and it kind of gives you the guidance. You can delete all of that, and then this gives you the title page. This gives the format for any paper you're writing all the way to theses. And then the only things that you should keep is the reference. For most of our assignments in this class, you can get rid of the middle content because this is going to be replaced by the outlines provided to you in the assignment. Does that make sense?
Yes.
But the title page and the reference page are still good, if that makes sense. Only thing I need to do here is move this to the middle of the page to be more like APA. So this is what it's going to look like. This is where you're going to put your stuff. All right, so far so good?
Yes.
All right. So that's the one thing. Download the APA template, use it. It'll give you the title and the reference. Okay, the thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the assignment itself. For the assignment itself, you go to the top of the page. Sorry for the scrolling. Go to assignments, and let me make sure I'm in the learner's view. You go to assignments and open up the assignment itself. Unit 8, assignment information strategy. So far, so good, right? And
Hmm.
and this is it. It gives you the rubric. And again, one thing that I noticed in our class is that people are using the rubric like instructions. They're not instructions. They are there to evaluate.
And just
Go ahead.
basically, the rubric is to tell you how the grading system is,
It
or
basically is a
how you're
measure.
gonna grade.
It's not like in some of the assignments, I've seen students use the title like depth of analysis, quality of recommendation as titles.
Right.
That's not just go by the outline in the assignment. I'll explain that here in a second. So if you're clicking here and it'll open to your assignment itself. And this is it. There is not much there, as you can tell, right?
Hmm.
Okay, it's the next page. So these are the instructions that come up. Let me make it bigger so you can see it. And what I'll do is I'll make my screen smaller. If you cannot read anything, please let me know. So it tells you the purpose to develop a detailed business report, what the skills associated for this, and then the instructions. Now, this is where it gets a little bit complicated because it gives you kind of two sets of instructions, and that can be confusing. Let me hide this for now. You have the actual outline you're going to fill, and then you have these instructions that tells you what to do. So the first thing in the instructions is the current state of GFRT. I'm sorry, GGFRT. So there's a case study.
Right.
You need to click on that, and the case study, it's right here. And it tells you what the scenario is. You have this, you're an IT consultant, and there's this. GG Fratways company, and has a new CEO. And you're tasked to prepare a comprehensive business report that analyze the company's current state and provide actionable recommendations to align its information system with its business strategy. So basically, this company is a logistics company that is open 24 by 7. It has 700 people. It has 400 trucks. And, basically what you're trying to do is figure out a way to operate this company to help operate this company using
Information
using
system.
technology. Yep, yep, yep. So, um,
So I'm the consultant,
yep,
and basically I'm writing a report, a business report to the GGFTR for
FRT. Yep,
GGFTR.
CEO. Yep,
I'm writing a detailed business report, a comprehensive business report for them. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna evaluate all of the information that they're giving me, and then all their information system, the way that their company is being ran. And I'm gonna tell you that I'm gonna tell them the information systems I think could help them.
correct. Correct. You're right on. So the first thing I want to mention is they use something, the route optimization freight tracking system.
Mm,
And this is the key part to determine the sequence of pickups by zip code. So there's a terminal and there is pickup points, right?
mm,
And the system they're using right now uses local maps with zip codes to determine when the pickups are done, the order, and they have a performance goal of 98%. They want to get better. The only problem is that this system
it's
is
outdated.
also has a lot of manual parts.
Okay, it's outdated.
Yeah, that's one way of saying that. So they have a fax copy of the bill of landing. They start with the fax. Think about that for a second.
It's
Then
outdated.
then you have a driver that follows the dispatch order for pickups. And basically, what they're delineating here is kind of the as is process, how they do things out. So one of the things I will do is like I always recommend with the ham sandwich is you copy this into a Word document and make an outline. All right. Now, this is not
Uh-huh.
going to be the assignment. The only reason I recommend that is that you have a good outline of what the case is about and what is an assess. And your job is really to tell them what the to be system should be. So far, so good.
Right, right.
So this is one section that tells you how that is. So it tells you many drivers complain that the pickover is not sufficient, and it tells you all the problems
That they have.
in sequence. So it
Hmm.
would be a good idea to make an outline, especially of this section, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And then when the freight is sent out for delivery, the driver follows the driver pickup order, um, blah, blah. So this section, what I would do is take this section right here from about two, the part that starts with the facts right there. I will
Hmm.
copy that and I would just take a plain old Word document like this one, and I will paste it out and I will try to, let me make it bigger for you again. And what I will do is try to break it down um, by steps.
Yeah. But each thing that's outdated, and
Yes.
and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
determine which systems you will put in place to
Yeah.
replace those
Yeah. Yeah.
systems.
Yep. So boom, boom. This is all the process. And again, some of the copy paste doesn't quite does justice, right? Justice because it breaks some of the spaces. But you get my drift. You
Yeah,
basically
basically that's what I did on the last assignment.
go ahead,
But
Joe.
you was telling me like it was just an outline. It wasn't the actual report
Correct.
itself.
So
So this
now,
time I gotta go. That's why I asked you about
yep,
this information, because I want to be proficient and give you
yeah,
exactly what it is you
yeah.
want.
So you see what I'm doing in here?
Mm-hmm.
This is the as-is process that I'm breaking down to understand what steps they're doing today.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yes.
One thing that this is an extra, this can be an extra step, but I also like to break it into columns. So when you're building the new system or the to-be system, you can let me show you what I'm saying by that. I'm just gonna it's not gonna be a complete, solution here, but it kind
Yeah.
of shows you what I'm doing here quick. I think that's enough. I think this is almost the whole thing. All right. So what I try to do in here, there's a column, viewing columns. See if I can, let me bring it over here real quick so I can find it. Add columns, design. Where's my columns? I'm gonna edit some of this, by the way, too.
Mm-hmm.
So layout. Okay, there we go. So if you go into Word, there's a layout piece here. This thing says layout. You click
Mm-hmm.
on that and it allows you to break it into columns. And I'm gonna break into two columns. So now what I can do is let me bring this all the way down into the next page. Okay, so what I can do with this now, as you review this is the asset system, I should say process, right?
Yes.
I can now create a to be process.
Okay.
So you can actually go through here now and say, okay, why are we doing fax? Why don't we use email or a portal to upload, uh, bill of landing? Do you follow that? And then you keep going through the whole process, and you can
Mm-hmm.
actually start building a to be process that mirrors the as process,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Yeah.
that helps you with analysis. That's just a tool for the analysis. All right, going back to the case study, make it a little bigger here. Then you read here what their objectives are, the strategic direction. This is about the technology that they're using and what the CIO wants to do. And, he was hired not long ago, blah, blah, blah. There's mandates in here and all that kind of stuff. This is important because these are going to be references for you later. This is what you're going to do later, use later to build a governance piece for the report. So far, so good. Any questions?
No.
Okay, so basically, you just did a quick analysis. You have the asset system, and now you're going to start working on the to be, which is part of the assignment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, you evaluate the business process optimization. So now you go into that second column and you start evaluating all the systems and how they be employed, and you're going to find out what new or updated information systems could help out. Think of portals instead of email. You can use email too, but if you're going to submit things, they should have a portal that coordinates everything, right? It should have dashboards. It should have map integration. It should have basically think of a place, a system that will allow you to take all the actions on the individual steps and go to a platform that provides that information for the drivers and for the guys who are in operations and for the customer. Another thing that I would recommend is think of the stakeholders. You have the clients, you have the CEO, you have the operation guys that are working the actual paperwork, you have the drivers. Try to think of how will all those people will work together. Think of in your case, think of how, you're talking about a business, separate subject, that you want to start a business, Patricia, you want to start a business with Uber drivers, right? And
Yeah.
and uh, and buy electric cars. And think of what tool could you do, what application you will use to consolidate everything. The more you can consolidate, the more the information is in one place, the easier it's for you and the drivers and the customers to be work together. Think of Lyft and Uber, what they have done. They haven't created anything. All they did, if you think about it, there has been taxis for decades. There's been customers that call taxis. There's taxi centers or owners who basically they used to do all this by phone and person call it number sent the dispatch and the taxi and pick you up. Well, what Lyft and Uber did is they put all that in one platform, and they basically without owning the basically the assets, without owning the taxes, they offer a service that allowed people to work together from customers to the driver. Another thing that it did is centralized everything. So take that model and try to apply it here, right? You have this
Mhm.
company, you have an ops center, and you want to consolidate all those services, all the things you're doing through a type of information system that allows to coordinate it from client to delivery. So far, so good.
Yes.
So that's the second column, right?
Hmm.
Now, proposing recommendations to align information systems with business strategic option. Data management, identify key data. These are questions. So in a separate page that you start working the actual deliverable, the report, you may want to take these as questions that you have to answer, right?
Hmm.
This section here, these are questions that you need to answer. This still is not the outline for the assignment. These are these are things you need to do before you submit the assignment. And then this is the key part. This is actually the report. Part three is the actual report. So these are the sections that you need in that report. Okay?
Hmm.
All right. So let's take the APA template that we created earlier and bring it out again. So this is the template. You have this part here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my outline right here, and I'm gonna paste it as the main thing. So I'm gonna go over here, get rid of all this stuff that I'm not gonna need. I'm not gonna need you're gonna need the levels of heading, but this assumes that you have studied this template and you know what level headings you're going to need. And I'm gonna
Hmm.
explain that here in a second, right?
Okay.
All right. So let's get rid of that part. And I'm gonna paste now this outline,
Hmm.
just the outline.
That's the executive summary, the current IS
Yep.
analysis,
And I'm gonna make
proposed
these,
strategies, conclusion, and
I'm gonna
recommendation.
make these my headings.
Okay.
You see how I'm doing that?
Yeah.
Very simple. Now you still have your reference list there. Now these are templates. When you find a reference, you're gonna set it here. You're gonna put it in this format. You're gonna eliminate
Hmm.
this. These are just whole placeholders, right?
Because I'm gonna
And then
find some references, trust me.
yeah, these are not. In other words, these are not real references. They're just placeholder. You're gonna look for references. You're gonna put them here. Use an external reference. Use a reference from the class material.
Okay.
All right. What's the second part? So you have your outline. What questions are you going to answer? Well, you're going to answer these questions, right? So you're going to go to question one and question two. So once you paste this here and you have your outline, now you address this questions here. So question one and two is basically part one. I guess is subparagraph one and two, right? So you
Hmm.
copy that over here.
And that goes under the executive summary.
Yep.
Okay.
And then the proposed strategy is three and four.
The
So that will
proposal.
be these 3 and 4.
And that's under proposal, you said?
Yes, propose. And I'm gonna clean this
Proposed
up a little.
strategies. Okay.
Yeah.
That's 3 and 4.
I don't know that I would organize it this way, but that's the way the assignment
That's the way they
analysis
want
there.
it. If that's the
So
way
we're
they
gonna
want
put one there, one, two, then three, which has this thing called data management. We'll bring it over and
it. So,
propose
okay, one,
solution.
two, then proposed strategies.
And then
Three
four
and four.
will be here. Now we're gonna clean this up here in a second.
Sure.
So we're gonna clean this up, but
Data challenge.
and then your recommendations.
So 4.
And
And
the
this should help a great deal. I'm gonna tell you
yeah,
that. I know it will for me because I basically I did the paragraphs forms, but do I did some bulletin, but I
okay,
didn't
understand.
do like resources and giving examples and stuff like that.
Okay, okay. All right, so let me clean this up now, right?
Hmm.
So I can get rid of that, right?
Hmm.
I can do this. I can clean this up and call it analysis. And then
Hmm.
I can change question one to say deception will be analysis of current eye support. Remember how we did,
Yeah.
do you remember how we did that
Uh-huh.
two columns? So that's the current support. And you can actually do a comparison. You can put a table, but this is what you're gonna in words, you're gonna interpret what that uh, uh as is process was like. So I break this into tasks,
As is versus what's to be.
which is what you're gonna process. So this is referring to that. So my based on that, so this is the task. Based on the provided case study, analyze how GFRT, current information system, fax, two-way radio, support hinder, and then provide concrete. So those are the two things you have to do in this section. All right, the next section. Evaluate business process. So now this is evaluate the role of IT in a company current business process. So the next task is identify and explain the last three inefficient, this is important, inefficiencies in the current process for freight, pickup and delivery. How could a new update or information system optimize these processes? So now you have all your headings and the tasks that you have to do. And like I always recommend, use these as heading. So read this, and what would you call this as a heading? So you can analyze it. It gives you two parts. This section is based on the provided case that analyze how GGFRT current information systems support. So at this section, I will title it. Well, let me give you a crack at it. How would you title this subsection
The subsection for the what
for
is
this task?
systems
For
that
this
are
task, yeah, for
um
this task.
and give it a title.
Yep. How would you title this question, this task?
How, wait a minute. You said make a question,
No, make a heading. What I'm trying to
a
do
heading. Okay.
is turn tasks into headings. So what happens? It keeps you in task. The ham sandwich thing,
Mhm.
right?
Uh-huh.
What's happening with a lot of students is they read stuff that and they come up with their own ideas and they get off task. What
Right.
I'm trying to do is always keep you in task. In this case, the task is, and I'm going to write it for you.
You want me to
Analysis
write a heading.
of has
Has been or
has been has
has been
is
processes.
process. That will be my heading for this task. And then you answer this
The
question.
has has been, just like you said, you
Has been.
has been process.
So now you have the heading for this task. And then you answer
Has is
this.
process.
And I even recommend
And then the next one would be
the next heading, the next task will be examples of areas of concern. You see how I'm kind of using the wording to create a heading for that
uh-huh.
task? About the next one. Evaluate business process optimization. Evaluate the role of IT in the company. How would you title that?
Evaluate business processes, optimization,
I would say
the role of
evaluation.
IT.
I will call this evaluation of the role, just like it says, of IT in the current. You see what I'm doing?
Mhm. So you
Um,
taking what exactly what it is and just renaming it.
just like that. And then what I do is I answer the task. So these are the tasks that I'm supposed to answer, the stuff that I'm high, and I'm putting each of them on their own subheading. This is another way of illustrating that. And then all I have to do when I answer is replace these with the answer.
Right.
Again, at first it takes a while because you got to think through it. But what's happening to me through the years is that now this is a very simple, quick process because all I'm doing is taking the task that's been given to me and I'm breaking it into outline.
Okay.
Okay, this one is another task, right? So I can make it as inefficiencies, inefficiency examples, and this is a task. Anything that is red needs to go away. I need to
Uh,
answer. I need to answer what's in red. I shouldn't say should go away. The red is what you're going to replace with words from your analysis.
okay.
Upcode a new update information system,
Red replace.
optimize the process to improve performance. You know, I may leave that
Mhm.
as a title. I may just leave that as a title, or
What?
in this case,
And if,
this task, how could
Mhm.
new or updated information system optimize this process to improve performance and driver satisfaction? I may leave that because that's what I'm talking about, right? And then
Okay.
what I will do is I will replace it with my answer
Examples.
here.
Examples.
Yeah. Now, if you want to
Okay.
make a title of that, which we
Hmm.
definitely could, we
Right.
could add advantage or benefit. See, optimize, improve performance and satisfaction improvements of new system. Again, I'm making I'm a terrible typer. You can do that too, you know? So
Hmm.
now you just have to answer that. That's a title, but you could also use the question. Let's just go with this. Improvements of a new system. Boom. So now you see what you're seeing here is the titles with the task is now going to
Hmm.
be replaced by your answers are. So
Okay.
now, if you notice, we already have more than half of the uh, outline for your answers made.
Hmm.
Everything that is in bold is kind of a heading,
Heading.
and everything in red is what you're going to say or
Oh.
you what the tasks are. Some students also use to keep track in APA, you don't have to use numbers, headings.
You could use
Uh,
letters
correct,
and
correct. But as you can see here, sometimes like this will be a first level heading, this will be a second level heading, this will be a third level heading with the
Mhm.
answer paragraph underneath it. So some students do things like this too to keep track of things. I hate when he does that. Um, they may do things like this to keep
Oh,
track.
the Roman numerals.
Yep, and you see how this helps them keep the outline in track. You can
Hmm.
do that too. So this will become two. In APA, you don't need that. So this will be a B. This will be one. This will be two. I what you're noticing here too is Word does say auto formatting. I hate that. I normally turn it off, but for this purpose, I think it's good. So you see how you ended up with a pretty good outline
Hmm.
of the first part. Now let's get going. So proposed strategy, if you remember right, that was the Roman numeral number three,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Data management analytics was part of the questions. Now, I don't know that you need to include that one, this part. Um, yeah, you do, you do. So we're gonna replace that with A, and then this is one,
One. One proposed this two,
and make sure I'm following the
and
same
then
format.
B.
And then this will become B.
B. Hmm. And then
Uh,
one.
is that correct? Yep.
Yeah.
And this becomes one,
One and then two.
and
Hmm.
then two. It's gonna break out. It's gonna break out more here in a second. And this will be the last one, which will be number four.
Four. Hmm.
Okay. So far, so good.
Hmm.
And these are your task. No, let me go back here now. Now I'm gonna break the task. So this is now identify the key data management challenges, and then how does the current system prevent the company, propose
Man, everybody
solution.
should be able to get this.
I hope so. Explain how, explain how to implement a new system. Include, you can do that. Is there any more task here? I think that's it. All right. Risk. Assess this ethic. Okay. Consider the data privacy.
Now, the only thing with this, let me tell you, because if we all do it like this, then they gonna think we copy.
No, 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 because again, this is just the
Our
outline.
wording to
I
be
am
different
not going
though.
to tell you right
Hmm.
now. I'm not going to give you the answers for you for this.
Right, right. We gonna figure that out ourselves. We are,
Bingo. Because that's all I'm trying to show you
it's
is
the
that
format, just a
the
format.
how to take a task that looks very convoluted, like in this case, right?
Hmm.
You have an
Hmm.
outline and you have questions and you got to merge it.
Because
The
this is
way I think.
intimidating, really.
Correct. I am showing you a technique to take any complex stuff and organize it. So now you can understand the logic from beginning to
To
end,
end.
and
Okay.
then you end up with a task that need to be answered properly. So
Okay.
in life, you're gonna get so many tasks thrown at you in so
Hmm.
many formats. And I
Right.
always recommend, I have done operational orders that were 20 pages big. The
Oh,
old paragraph, and they try to do some outline. The military, they try to do some outline, but even with there, people just spew stuff. So what I always did is take all that stuff
and
and then
outline.
create an outline,
Hmm.
and then because that will also help me always answer the question that was asked.
That
It puts
makes
me in
sense.
task. All right. The other thing I would do is remember these are your tasks, and while they're even though they're the tasks, they
Hmm.
can become um, they can become titles, right? And this, for
Right.
example, identify the key data management challenges. So you may want to call that key data management side. So that could be your title. And then this becomes the task you need to answer. How does the current system prevent the company from effectively collecting data? Again, this is another one that you can use the whole thing as a title, or just come up with a title for it. So I can say, okay,
How does the current system
I would,
prevent?
to be honest, I would just use this as a title
As a
itself.
question, yep.
Yeah, and then I would just come over here and
Answer the
answer it,
question. You answer the question.
and then just put that as the
Yeah, the
answer.
example. Hmm.
Okay. Propose strategic for data governance and data management. Okay, so in this one is what I'm going to use for this.
It
This is
would be
going to
the
be the title.
uh,
All this. Look at the magic of this. So,
um,
propose
strategies for data governance
proposal for data
and
governance and
data
data management.
management.
There we go. And then
Uh-huh.
this is a question. This is a task you're going to answer. Explain how implementing a new system with a centralized database will enable data analytics and visualization, such. So, there's many ways you can answer it. There's many ways you can title this. I would say enabling. Did I spell that right? Enabling.
Hmm.
So again, you gotta do proper syntax for data. I haven't been doing that, but that's something you can do in your own, the
Hmm.
proper heading. And then that's one task. Change management strategy. That's easy. Change management. Come on. Ah, I'm trying to strategy. And now this is your task.
Hmm.
Include change management strategy that includes, so these are tasks for that. We'll communicate. You see how these became three
Hmm.
tasks? Again, I'll put those on red because I'm going to use the wordings, but eventually these sections will be replaced by your answers.
Hmm.
And then risk. Assess the ethical and server. Okay, those are the two tasks. Um, the title for this will be this.
Ethical and cyber risk.
Ethical and cyber risk facing GRT. And then this will be the task to
Assess
answer.
ethical and cyber risk
And
facing
then consider data
current
privacy.
problems.
So there's really three tasking here. Consider this will be, I will put this in the subheading and sub bullets. So data privacy, communication, and regulatory compliance. So those will be the titles. Now that we broke this out, let me clean this up a little bit. So we're in ethical security, broke the risk.
Hmm.
The only thing I'm having a problem with, um, and you know that these are things that need to be considered. So these could be titles too. You follow what
Hmm.
I'm saying?
Data
So
privacy,
you may have to change
communication
this.
methods, and regulatory
You may have to
compliance.
see considerations, and then and
Is
then
consideration.
and then break it by. Let me see if I can show this properly here. Consider, and then this will go because this is just a word.
Just
Then you will
consideration,
make
right?
considerations, and then you will
And
list
then
three
do
sub.
data privacy, communication methods, and regulatory
Correct,
compliance.
correct, correct. And then mitigation proposed a specific. Okay, this is important. There's a section on ethical. Actually, there's a subsection that deals with ethics. You need to reread that because
Okay.
this is the place that you're going to put that into. What kind of
Okay.
ethical framework? What's an ethical framework, right?
Uh-huh.
Deontology, has been one, or utilitarianism. That's in that section. And will be a great place to put how I said you need an external reference and an internal reference.
Hmm.
So this will be great for a class internal reference where you will actually go
External
there and bring it back.
and internal.
Also, when it comes to this part,
Hmm.
remember that in the case study, there's references to that. But
Got you.
remember, then there will be three references: one external, one internal from the class material, and then the reference
Class
being the
study,
case study. Because
case
to be
study.
honest, that the case study is the one that mentions this part. So let me make sure we broke
It mentions
let
what
me
the
make sure I
compliance with
broke the
federal
tax
and state
properly.
mandates.
Say that again?
You said the case study makes reference to
Yes.
the compliance.
Yep. Here at the bottom. But this is an area that's going to require some research. That's all I'm saying.
Let me see.
All right. And
Yeah,
then, but we kind of got ahead of ourselves
that's
here.
under the
So I'm going to
mandate.
make sure I have everything in mitigation. Propose specific ethical frameworks of information systems, solutions to mitigate those risks and ensure compliance. Okay. So here, whatever ethical framework you use or whatever solution you propose, have to make sure they cover this, which basically, these are the three things you got to cover. So your solution you have to make the tie between your solution and these areas of concern from a governance perspective. All right, and then your conclusion is a summary of your proposed plan, and a clear call for action. So those are the two things you have to address on your conclusion and recommendation. Make sense? The last piece is appendix. What I would do, I will insert a page break, and then make this a main title, and include a simple conceptual diagram or flowchart that visualizes the current inefficient communication data flow compared to the proposed system. So what you want to do here is remember that other document you created with the access process.
Mm-hmm.
You want to map this out. And what they mean by a flow chart is something like it can be done very quickly with PowerPoint. Let me show you.
So they want a diagram, basically.
Yeah, they do want a diagram. That is correct. So let me recap. All right, from the beginning, we started with the APA template. Then we brought the instructions into an outline, and then we had to modify the outline with the questions, right? Then we took each step and we created these reds which is where your answers are gonna go. And these are the tasks you have to fill in. In that process, we also created a subheading outline for each section to keep you in track.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing we did is, so that gives you the outline to fulfill the assignment. This is what it's going to look like in the submission. It's not the completely solution, but it's the outline you have to fill out. And if you notice, because we copied the instructions over, it's going to be very precise. You're answering the ham sandwich. You're delivering exactly what they asked.
Okay.
In that process, we created another tool, and it was this two-column outline of the access process, and then the one that you have to fill out. What is that new system going to look like? What is it going to your recommendation look like? That's going to be the second column, and you're going to modify, optimize, modify. Now, if you remember from our class, probably I think it was class 3 or 4, where we talk about business optimization, and there are certain things you can do for business optimization. You can change a step, you can add a step, you can delete a step, you can use new technology to consolidate steps, and you can use new technologies to bring something new. If you go to the class material on the announcements, when I was introducing week 4, I talk about in class, but this is how you review a process. These are the things that normally go into an optimized process. You can add, you can delete, you can split a step, you can consolidate
Consolidate,
step, you can make
parallel,
parallel steps, and
create by taking
create
advantage.
something new by taking advantage of the technology. The ultimate goal is to optimize. So
Optimize.
if you're going to optimize, you should end up with a process that is less complicated and simpler. So the diagram, that's the purpose of the diagram. The diagram says, well, I'm getting too complicated. How can I make it faster? All of that to say is that in one of my announcements, I kind of gave you the bottom line of what business optimization is. And these are the things that it does. And this will help you. It's not a perfect model, but it will help you figure out how you go from a model like this to something like this. You add, you delete, you split, you consolidate, you parallel, and you create by taking advantage of the technology. And in this case, this is a big one because what you're trying to do is create optimization by taking advantage of technology when they are obviously not doing that to their best of their abilities. Okay, and that's the assignment. It's a tough assignment. I won't lie to you.
Mm,
I will tell you this. Keep it simple.
mm.
All right, and then remember these references will be replaced by whatever references you use. This is the tough one because this is where you prove that you have learned throughout the. Do you have any other questions for me?
No, sir.
I look forward to your submission.
Okay. I'm gonna do
You're
the
a
ham
great
sandwich. I'm gonna
American.
give you the ham sandwich if nothing else.
All right.
That's
You have
my
a
intentions.
yes,
Thank you so
ma'am.
much, Professor V.
No problem.
You have a blessed one here.
You too.